What is up, my fellow brothers of the internet? It is Ringhammer here. Today I wanted to bring you a review of a dash cam that, thanks to my Faja, I can bring to you today. It is called the DDPAI M6 Plus, and as you can see, I have it in my car already, and so far it has been great. The video that we're looking at right now is filmed on a nice, bright, crystal, sunny day. So I'm going to show you in this video how this camera looks at pitch black dark with basically no headlights and brights, as well as foggy days and assholes that can't turn their car, evidently. I don't know how it's so complicated, but I'm almost happy for self-driving cars, and that hurts me inside. So first of all, I would like to point out that every car is different, and it depends upon the angle of your windscreen and also what you have in your dash. And here you can clearly see my phone in my dash, which my beautiful wife will point out to me shortly, that the camera records a lot better without this white phone in the dash. So keep that in mind with your dash cams. Your dash is reflected upon your windscreen, and that ends up getting recorded into your dash cam. So next up, we're actually going to look at some night recordings, and I'm going to start off here with my DRLs, my daytime running lights. So basically you see nothing. For me, I could see some more than this, but not that much more. It's not long afterwards in which I turn on my actual headlights, which you can see now, and it does a pretty good job of recording with basically no light. Now keep in mind, this camera has no infrared technology, so what it picks up is strictly based upon what your car can light up. So as you look at this now, I turn on my bright lights, it's a lot better. So what you can see, the camera can see a little bit less, basically. Now, I also wanted to point out here what you can see when another car passes you in the middle of the night. The key thing to point out here is this is just about your worst conditions. Mountain roads, no street lights. It is raining. It's kind of foggy. It can't get much worse than this. It is possible for it to get worse than this, but just to give you an idea, when another car comes across in the other lane, just like your eyes, you can't see much. This camera is not some miracle technology that allows you to read license plates and car models despite the weather conditions. It functions like your eyes. Scary, I know. So now with some beautiful foggy weather for you to watch, let's talk a little bit more about the details of this camera. It does require a 2.1 amp DC power supply. It supports up to 128 gigabyte class 10 micro SD card. They do recommend that you get a Kingston brand. It has a parking mode as well as a shock sensor. Obviously, if you get into an accident, the shock sensor is supposed to lock the files. That didn't occur during my testing because, thankfully, I didn't get into an accident. If you want to activate the parking mode, it depends upon your vehicle's DC charging mode. A lot of cars now don't have active power to their cigarette lighters, so you will need something like a battery pack, and that is actually what I would recommend, is that you get a battery pack to supply power to your camera so you don't drain your car's actual battery. So that way you can actually start your car when you need to. As far as software is concerned, the Chinese manufacturer does include an iOS and Android application. Just search our marketplace for DDPAI, that is DDPAI, and you can find their application there. It is not the best application, but if you play with it long enough, you'll figure it out. Most importantly, you connect your camera through a Wi-Fi connection. So immediately change the name of your camera as well as add a password to it. After that, go into the settings. You want to set the image quality to the highest level possible. I recommend 2K or 1440p, as well as a ratio of 2.4 to 1. That's because if you set it or leave it at the standard ratio, it's a higher visibility versus a wider visibility. And when it comes to dash cams, no one cares how much sky that you can see. It's about the width of the image. Along in the application, you can set or enable something called eDog. I recommend you do that as well. Now, I don't know how good it is yet, but basically eDog is supposed to warn you of red light cameras and speed cameras, which we don't have to worry about in the States, but nonetheless, certainly it'd be good to know of those things. Recording with sound, now I do recommend that because if you get pulled over, it is going to at least pick up your voice. Anyways, if you're like me and you talk loud, sorry, I talk loud. By chance, you should be able to pick up the officer. Now, as far as whether or not you want it to also record your speed, that's up to you. They can still determine it based upon the GPS data, which it also stores, and it also keeps a driver record, supposedly, of how you perform in your driving based upon hard turns and G-force and hard braking, stuff like that. So, turn on and off and work with those features as you like. The main thing is with the application is that when you click the button that is supplied with it, yeah, there's a little button that you can stick anywhere within your car. It will actually take a snapshot and make a sound. And that sound lets you know that it has actually just taken a screenshot and saved the last 15 seconds. Well, not really into another file, but it will save it to your iOS or Android device. Now, it doesn't really distinguish that file from any other files. If you actually go and look at the file system, it's still a 2-minute file regardless of when you click that button. It just creates a snapshot for you. So sometimes that captures everything that you need in that moment. Other times you'll actually need to go into the SD card and edit the video file to capture what you need. Now there is a lot more to this camera, especially in regards to the application that comes with it, which isn't very intuitive. So if you have any questions, please let me know. So in conclusion, I would like to leave you with this clip of a Mustang that obviously can't drive. Now, my car is a 4-cylinder and it has basically no insulation, so it sounds much cooler than it really is. But can you imagine how this would sound in a V8?